Intensive monospecific tree crop plantations contribute to the erosion of biodiversity in Southeast Asia. Farmers and companies cut down trees to generate profit and prepare the land for further activities. To make way for machinery and workers, the area is often deliberately cleared. The soil is left bare, devoid of the diverse plants and animals that once lived there. Human activity also eliminates from the plantation grounds all of the wild biodiversity that once constituted the natural habitat and food source for native species, such as birds, reptiles, large mammals, and even microscopic animals. How can a plantation adopt more sustainable practices to limit its impact on biodiversity? First, the plantation can grow different tree species together. For example, timber species and coffee, or timber species and fruit trees. Tree associations provide a wider diversity habitats for wild species, which are attracted by the cooler temperatures and higher moisture in shaded places. Second, the plantation can create a wildlife-friendly system. For example, the Melangking oil palm plantation in Sabah, Malaysia, has installed biodiversity corridors that allow wildlife, including orangutans and elephants, to move through the heart of the plantation. The plantation has built bridges over the rivers and restored the continuity of the landscape by replanting selected native trees. Humans and wild animals now coexist more peacefully. This same company is also setting up agroforestry-based plantations, mixing forest trees and oil palms because this increases biodiversity while providing environmental services. A plantation can also limit its impact on biodiversity by establishing a High Conservation Value Area, HCV. A High Conservation Value Area is a protected natural habitat area harboring species of critical importance, such as endangered animals, rare plants, and species valued as sacred. Even small HCVs can serve as a reservoir and shelters for all types of wildlife inside the boundaries of a monospecific plantation. HCV areas are often the remnants of the original tropical rainforest. They can include peat soil areas, as these are very specific areas harboring precious carbon sinks. The opening and burning of such fragile areas could easily provoke an ecological disaster. Riparian forests also can be classified as HCV, as biodiversity is much higher along river courses than in a monospecific plantation. Indonesia and Malaysia are home to some of the most biodiverse places on Earth. These places are called hotspots. They combine very high biodiversity and strong anthropogenic pressures. This is why many private oil palm and rubber plantations in Indonesia and Malaysia are now trying to preserve HCV areas on their grounds. These HCV areas are usually rather small, but they can have a considerable impact on biodiversity. So let's summarize. A sustainable plantation can limit its impact on biodiversity by growing different species on the same parcels through agroforestry, creating wildlife corridors and favoring landscape continuity, preserving HCV areas inside the plantation,